Members, this bill includes some poison pills that could strengthen the grip that smugglers have on vulnerable children and further damage our immigration system. My amendment, there's three parts to it. The first part would strike Section 205, a provision that endangers, I believe, and many believe, the lives of migrant children. This section prohibits trained federal law enforcement officers from saving migrant children from the clutches of dangerous human smugglers or individuals who have been convicted of violent or sexual crimes. There's an example as recently as May of this year where a DHS law enforcement officers caught a Honduran man trying to enter the country with an unrelated, it wasn't his child, unrelated 6-month-old infant. They arrested the man and placed the infant in the care of HHS, thankfully. But under this bill, particularly this section, if you read it carefully, that 6-month-old infant would have remained in the custody of the human smuggler because under this section prohibited from removing the child. So we have heard over and over again in this committee from law enforcement how this is happening, how DHS is now enacting DNA tests and expanding them because there are bad actors out there. There are a lot of good people out there, but there are bad actors out there abusing these children, sending them back home to Central America, then sending them back with other people. It's awful. The second part of my amendment cracks down on the illicit trafficking of children by fining any migrant who fraudulently claims a child as their own up to $10,000. So, to me, this is very reasonable, a fine of $10,000 if you're fraudulently using a child and it's really sad because we've heard cases where the parents are actually selling their children, letting these smugglers use their children to fake that they're some kind of family unit by abusing our loose immigration laws. And finally, my amendment fixes a one-sided report on migrant deaths to include an analysis of CBP and DOD rescue efforts on the border. Specifically, if you remember, I talked about this before in this committee. There was a case in Arizona where they found a young girl, 7 years old, had died in the desert because the cartels and the smugglers had just left them there. These people don't care. The smugglers don't care about these people at all. They're money to them. Whether it's drugs or humans, it's money to them. And so it was with DOD funds transferred for the use of the Arizona National Guard that they sent out the rescue planes and were able to at least find the other family members so they didn't die too. And so that's what, if we're gonna start placing blame, we better start saying what the CBP officers and the use of DOD funding for the National Guard at the border and troops at the border, how it actually helps save the lives of migrants. And with that, I ask the members to rule in order my amendment and include it and vote yes.
Does any